Welcome. I'm now going to be continuing my trade discussion in the 2022-2023 season, and the fact that a lot of big names have been traded away before the trade deadline is kind of mind blowing. I can't recall in past trade deadlines where so many big names have been acquired before said deadline. I just feel that this upcoming Friday there's going to be very little movement because a lot of teams are obviously trying to get prepared for to make a run at the cup, or for teams that aren't making the playoffs, they're trying to get as many picks in now so obviously, when the draft comes along, they'll be able to draft some young talent moving forward. A trade that just happened recently was the Coyotes traded Shane Gostisbehere to the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes are already a stacked team as it is. I believe they are in first place in their division, the Metropolitan Division, I do believe. So they got a lot of talent on their team, and for a team such as the Hurricanes, they're basically their mindset is most likely Stanley Cup or bust. Just getting into the conference final or the Stanley Cup final has to be their mindset because just winning a round is just not acceptable for the team that they have and the talent that they have on the team. So, just like I said, their mindset right now moving forward is we want to get over the hump, get over that second round, hopefully get in the conference final or Stanley Cup final. So, a big acquisition. He's obviously a great left-handed shot, top four defenseman. So it's going to be interesting to see where they put him, who he's paired up with. But yeah, so this was a big acquisition for the Hurricanes. All they really gave up was just a third round pick in 2026. So for a guy who's still somewhat in his prime, I mean, I wouldn't say he's an elite, but he's definitely not the worst defenseman that they could have acquired. But yeah, it's a great acquisition for the Hurricanes and for the Coyotes. Just another draft pick. I think I seen a chart the other day, and they had so many draft picks for this upcoming draft. It's unbelievable how much how many prospects they can potentially get, but who knows if they trade them away? You never know. So with that being said, I'm going to continue with the trades. There were a couple of trades that I missed from yesterday, and sure enough, once I was doing my video yesterday, I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny if there were more trades happening? And then sure enough, they did happen as soon as I got rid of or as soon as I uploaded my video. So I just want to quickly go back to the Ranger deal with the Patrick Kane. I believe yesterday when I was talking about that deal, I was just more or less just saying that he got traded to the Rangers for a bunch of picks, not realizing that there was a third team involved. So I will quickly go over this trade one more time. So as I said, obviously Patrick Kane is now a member of the New York Rangers. They also acquired defenseman Cooper Zek from the Blackhawks. Uh, so the third team that was involved in this, as I previously said, were the Arizona Coyotes. The Blackhawks received defenseman Andy Wozniacki, a second round pick in 2023, a fourth round pick in 2025 from the New York Rangers, and defenseman Vili Saravajari from the Coyotes. And the Coyotes got a third round pick in the 2025 NHL draft. So they have picks up the wazoo for days. So obviously for the Rangers, getting a guy like Patrick Kane, who's obviously had 3 cups under his belt, and he has a little bit of experience, he can definitely help propel this team get over the hump. And for the Rangers, you got to think that you got a really talented squad, whether it's on defense, offense. They are stacked. It's unbelievable how much talent they actually have. So good on the Rangers, and obviously, like I said, their mindset right now is trying to get to the back to the conference final, which they got to last year, or even making to the Stanley Cup final. So it'll be interesting to see how all these trades pan out for the guys in blue. So the other trade, there were 2 other trades that happened yesterday. I'm going to get into this one here between the Nashville Predators and the Edmonton Oilers. So, as I've said previously, the Nashville Predators are just basically giving up whatever they can get for picks. They brought in Tyson Barrie from the Edmonton Oilers, a right-handed shot defenseman, definitely a top 4 guy. Fantastic on the power play. I do believe he had like 30 some odd points or something like that. It was crazy how well he was doing on the power play. So he can definitely help them moving forward. He still has another year on his deal, so whether Nashville decides to trade him in the offseason or keep him, that's entirely up to them. But a huge acquisition for them. And going to the Edmonton Oilers was Matthias Ekholm. So I'll pull him up on the screen here really quickly. A left-handed shot defenseman, obviously a top 4 guy. Pretty big defenseman too, 6'4", 215 pounds, so he can definitely lay the body to say the least. Let's see what else we have. So So the full trade is the Edmonton Oilers got Matthias Ekholm, a 6th-round pick in the 2024 draft from the Predators in exchange for Tyson Barrie, forward Reed Schaefer, a prospect, in my opinion, a 1st-round pick in 2023, and a 4th-round pick in 2024. So for the Edmonton Oilers, they're obviously trying to beef up their defense, trying to get back into the postseason for the 3rd straight season, 2020, 2021, 4th straight season. Obviously, in the 2020 season, they made it to the bubble, but they couldn't get out of the first round. 2021, they got eliminated in a sweep. Last year, they made it to the conference final, and obviously, they got swept by the Avalanche, who won the cup. So for the Oilers, they're just trying to see if they can prove that last season was not a fluke. So getting a veteran defenseman in Matthias Ekholm should potentially help them on that end. And the last trade from the yesterday happened between the Minnesota Wild and the Columbus Blue Jackets. As everyone knows, the Columbus Blue Jackets are now basically tanking. They're trading away all their assets to get whatever picks they can get. In return, the Minnesota Wild, who are obviously in a playoff contention spot right now, got Gustav Nyquist, a veteran guy. I mean, I can't see him blowing up the team, getting like a bunch of goals or a bunch of assists, but he can definitely help out in a top 6 pairing somehow, whoever they decide to pair him with. So for the Minnesota Wild, they're obviously trying to get not just back in the postseason, but try to make a bit of a run. They have a pretty decent team, to say the least. So this is a big acquisition for said Wild. And I believe there were just a couple of trades as of right now. So I will get into the first one, which is the Colorado Avalanche have acquired center Lars Eller from the Washington Capitals. A top 9 forward. Obviously, he's had the one cup with said Capitals. He would love to have a second ring with the Avalanche if they could possibly go back to back. Here's how the trade goes. The Avalanche have acquired, as I said, Lars Eller from the Capitals in exchange for a 2nd-round pick in 2025. So it's hard to believe that the Capitals are sellers. Normally, by this time, they're buyers because they want to try to go all in, especially when you have a talented forward like Ovechkin. But they're just, I don't know if they can really make the playoffs. I think right now they're like 5 or 6 points back out of the last wildcard spot. And giving up all these assets, you just feel that, okay, they're obviously tanking because why would you be giving so many players away? They've already given away Johansson. Now they got rid of Eller, Orlov, and I believe Hathaway went to the Bruins. So, yeah, for the Capitals, they're obviously sellers at this right now, which is kind of mind-blowing for me. But, again, if you're not doing that well and you're this far back in the standings, you have to hope for a miracle to try to climb that ladder. So, for the Avalanche, this is a huge acquisition. They got enough depth down the center spot with the addition of Lars Eller, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to back. And obviously, if you're the Avalanche, you would love nothing more than to go back to the Stanley Cup final. And another trade that happened between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Los Angeles Kings. I'm going to quickly look at the LA Kings side of things. So I will take a look at the defenseman that they acquired. So the LA Kings have acquired Vladislav Garikov from the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they also acquired a goalie, Korpisalo, Jonas Korpisalo, who's now basically going to be their number 1 guy. Unless for some reason Phoenix Copley takes over the number 1 spot, but I don't see that happening. So a huge acquisition for the Kings. Obviously, they're making a playoff push, so they'd love to have some decent goaltending, to say the least. But the fact that they gave up Jonathan Quick is just so mind-blowing. A franchise goaltender has been there since day one. Obviously, once he retires, I'm sure he'll be retiring as a King. So it's going to be kind of odd to see Jonathan Quick in a Columbus Blue Jackets jersey. But it is what it is. The Kings felt that they wanted to get maybe a younger goaltender. I'm not sure what the case may be is. It's not like Quick is struggling. He may not be putting up the best numbers, whatever the case may be is, but he has basically helped the team get into where they're at. So the fact that they gave up Jonathan Quick is a real head scratcher for myself, but I'm not a general manager. I'm just a random guy on YouTube. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in to this time. And as more trades happen, I will be obviously on my horse to try to cover as much as I potentially can. And with Friday's trade deadline approaching, I will be having a full coverage of that as well. So thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, take care.